Hello everyone, myself Khyati Vyas from JMP English Medium Saraswati Group of Education. Today I am conducting this session for grade 4. Subject S is, we are dealing with chapter number 4, that is the Northern Plains, and this is my session number 1 for this chapter. So kids, you already know that there are 6 major physical features, physical divisions in India. They are the northern mountains, the northern plains, then the Great Indian Desert, the southern plateau, coastal region and the islands. Now amongst these physical divisions, firstly we learned about the northern mountains. Then we learned regarding the people or the life of people in the northern mountains. Now the second physical feature of India is the northern plains. So in this chapter we will learn regarding the northern plains. Clear? Plains, what do you mean by plains? Plains are the large area of land which has a flat surface. Right? There are no hills, no valleys, no mountains. They are flat. So they are called plains. And this flat plain region is located towards the north of India. So they are called the northern plains. After the Himalayas, to the south of the Himalayas or to the south of the northern mountains के बाद जैसे ही we come towards the south, we have northern plains. So we will learn regarding the northern plains in this chapter. But to start with the chapter, let us go through the vocabulary words with the help of PPT, in which I have explained the meaning of difficult words which you will come across in this chapter with some related pictures. Okay? So let's begin the PPT now.
Chapter number 4, the Northern Plains. First word, tributaries. Tributaries means a river or stream that flows into a larger river or a lake. Tributaries means a river or stream that flows into a larger river or a lake. See in the picture, you can see that a small stream which is making a loop, it is flowing and then it joins to a large river. Can you see that? Yes. Isn't it beautiful? So tributaries are smaller than the rivers. And there is a flowing water in the stream. And this stream then joins into a large river. So it is called this small stream is called a tributary. What is it called? It is called tributary. Okay? So tributary is a river or stream that flow into large river or a lake. Next, silt. Silt means sand or soil that is carried along by flowing water. Sand or soil that is carried along by flowing water. In the picture you can see the muddy water is flowing and then it is joining into another water body. But when this muddy water is flowing, you can see that yellow color or brown color in it. It is nothing but a silt. When the water flows, this silt, that is small dust particles, they mixed up into the water and flow with the water. And then Near the river banks, you can see red color soil or clay. Can you see that? Yes, that is nothing but silt which is deposited there. This water, when it flows down, it brings small dust particles along with the water. And when the water drains, these dust particles gets deposited to the river banks. And these small dust particles are called silt. So silt, that is sand or soil that is carried along by flowing water. Next, fertile. Fertile means good for growing crops. Fertile means good for growing crops. In the picture you can see a large area of land, completely green. So many plants are grown over here. Why is it so? See, if the quality of the soil is not so good, then the plants might not grow so well. But here, the land is very fertile, means the land is very good and it supports the growth of plant. And that is why here you can see large number of plants have been grown. It looks so beautiful. So you can say that this land is very fertile, means it is good for growing crops. The crops which you grow in an unfertile land might not grow well. But this sand or this land area is very fertile, and hence the crops are grown so good. It looks so beautiful. Everywhere it is green, rich green color. On the other hand, see the mountains or the hills near this land? They are barren. Barren means no plants or trees are grown over there. Means the land over there is not fertile. But the green part, the land is fertile. So fertile means good for growing crops. Next word, alluvial. Alluvial means soil made up of sand and earth left by the river, flood, etc. See here in the picture. These are the small dust particles. We talked about silt, right? I told you that water carries silt along with it, and this silt gets deposited on the river banks. See here in this picture you can see small dust particles that are deposited on the land. Yes. So this sand which gets mixed with the earth, right? It is called alluvial soil. It is a type of soil, and this alluvial soil is made up by the silt. Okay, so when the water flows, you see that it carries dust particles, and the water, when it is drained, the sand particles or the dust particles get deposited on the land. This is the part, and this soil is called alluvial, means soil made up of sand and the earth left by the rivers, floods, etc. When there is heavy rainfall, there is a flood, and even at that time, when the water gets drained, you can see the dust particles. So rivers and floods make the soil fertile because of the silt, and this type of sand is called alluvial soil. Clear? Next one, basin. Basin means the area of land watered by the river and its branches. The area of land watered by a river and its branches. In the picture you can see the river is flowing, but in between it is being branched to some of the areas. Somewhere to the buildings, in some places near the houses, in some places near the farms. So this river is branched to many other areas. So this is called a basin. It is the area of land watered by a river and its branches. Clear? Next, irrigation. Irrigation means is the artificial process of applying controlled amounts of water to land. Irrigation is the artificial process of applying controlled amounts of water to land. In this picture you can see that this land area is watered by digging a deep source of water. They have dug the ground in such a way that water flows through the main branch, and then to the each one of the row of plants the water is being supplied. This is not made by God, but we human beings, we have dug this. Why did we do that? We did it so that all the parts of the field will get proper amount of water. If water is not supplied to these parts of the plants, these plants will not grow, and the farmer will have to face some loss. But if these crops grow well, the farmer gets lots of profit. So in the parts where there is less water, where the plants do not get enough rainwater as well, what does the farmer do? He depends on an artificial process of watering his field. This process is called irrigation, in which the fields are watered by some artificial means. Natural means of providing water or supplying water is rainwater. But what if the place is somewhere where the rain is not enough? What will the farmer do? So he has to think of artificial process through which he can water his plants, and then his plants will grow well. All the crops will grow well, healthy crops. And once the plants are grown well, then his goods will get much profit. If the crops will not grow well, then nobody will buy it because they are not of good quality. And then the farmer will have to face the loss. So, at that time, the farmer has to go for the artificial process of applying controlled amount of water to land. Why they have used the term controlled amount? It is because if the farmer supplies so much of water, excess water than whatever is required, even then the plants might die. So water should be supplied in a controlled amount. Excess water is also not good, and less water is also not good for plants. So plants need controlled amount, means appropriate amount of water should be supplied. So irrigation means it is the artificial process of applying controlled amount of water to land. Clear? Next, delta. Delta means an area of low flat land, sometimes shaped like a triangle, where a river divides into several smaller rivers before flowing into the sea. Once again, an area of low flat land, sometimes shaped like a triangle, where a river divides into several smaller rivers before flowing into the sea. In the picture you can see the green color, that is a river. It is flowing, and then this river is branched into two different streams. One goes towards the left, the other one towards the right. And then this stream goes and joins into a sea or an ocean. And can you see? Now it looks something like a triangle. The triangle, one side is blue water and the other two sides are green colored water. So these green colors are rivers, and the blue portion which you see at the top of the picture is a sea. Correct? So this area is called a delta, because here the river, it is being divided into two different streams, and then the river flows further and then it mixes with the sea, and you can make out that there is some shape like a triangle formed. So it is called a delta. What is it called? It is a delta. Delta means an area of low flat land, sometimes shaped like a triangle, where a river divides into several smaller rivers before flowing into the sea. Next, discard. Discard means to throw away or get rid of something because you no longer want it. See, sometimes there are some things which you don't require anymore. So what do you do with that thing? You discard it. Correct? For example, your old books, which does not have any empty page and which are of no use to you. What do you do with them? You discard them. Either you give it to somebody else, or you ask your mama to discard it. Right? So discard means, see, even if you have some old clothes which doesn't fit you anymore, what do? You discard them. Correct? Yes. So discard means to throw away or get rid of something because you no longer want it, is called discard. So here we come to the end of the PPT. Now let's move on to the general video.
Okay, let's come back to the chapter. The northern plains. The northern plains have been formed by three major rivers and their tributaries, that is Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. What do you mean by tributaries? I have explained, right? Yes, the small stream of the river which will join the river is called a tributary. So, the northern plains of India, it is mainly formed by the rivers or the tributaries of these rivers, that is Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. These three rivers, they form the northern plains. These rivers bring among minerals, rocks and silt from the mountains and deposit them on the banks of the surrounding area. When the river flows from the mountain, it flows with a great speed because of the slope of the mountain, right? You might have ride on the bicycle, and when there is a slope, the bicycle goes very fast, right? In the same way, this water will also flow with a great speed in the slopes of the mountain, and then it enters the plains. When it moves down the slope, it brings fine sand particles or dust particles along with it, right? In the rainy season, you might have seen the water comes on, right? The rainwater, it flows, and when the water gets, drained, that sand particle or dust particles remain on the floor. In the same way, when the water flows down from the mountain, it brings the silt, that is the fine dust particles. And then when it moves or flows through the plains, this silt gets deposited on the banks. Matlab ke kinara, right? The river banks. Yes. So this silt gets deposited on the banks of the river. As a result, the soil of the northern plain is very fertile. And this silt is very good. And it makes the soil or that area very fertile. Fertile means good for growing crops. It is known as alluvial soil. And this soil which has a silt in it, it is called alluvial soil. What soil? Alluvial soil. The Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra river divide northern plains into three basins. Three basins. Which are they? First thing, a basin is an area watered by river and its tributary. Basin means it is an area which gets water from the river or its tributaries. Okay? So, basins are the areas which are watered by the rivers or its tributaries. Then what are the tributary? Tributary is a smaller river that flow and merge into bigger river. They are small rivers which flow and then it get merged. Merge means mixed with the big river. So they are tributaries. So now which are the three important basins of the northern plains? They are Indus Basin, Ganga Basin and the Brahmaputra Basin. Because these three rivers flow through the plains of northern India. So we are having Indus Basin, Ganga Basin and Brahmaputra Basin. And we will learn regarding these three basins in detail in our following sessions. Okay? So let us keep this session till here. Now I am sending a PDF which is your homework. Read the instructions properly and do your work accordingly with good handwriting and no spelling mistakes. And read the chapter till where I have explained to you in this video. If you have liked this video, please click on the like icon. See you in the next session. Bye.